Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad to hear this Tuesday morning. Got a big show lined up, but first, our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin and Highway 77. High today, now listen to this, high today is 74 and low is 65. So it doesn't sound like wintertime right there, does it? Now we do have some more cold weather coming Friday morning. It'll be 35 here on the coast and freezing, close to freezing inland for all you viewers up there. But we do, that's how it does. This, and December is always famous for bump up and down, up and down. So we're in that pattern right now. Water temperature is at 64 degrees. It dropped a couple of degrees over the weekend. That was some of the cold weather we had. River readings, the Apalachicola at Bluntstown, 7.1. It's about to get straightened out, about to get leveled off. And the Choctawhatchee at Caryville, it's dropping, still dropping a little bit. It's at 6.9. Looking at the Choctawhatchee, that looks like my bank account dropping pretty steady here around Christmas time. But it's going to be leveling off some pretty soon too. So rivers are getting back in pretty decent shape. We do have some rain coming this afternoon and maybe some tomorrow, so be aware of that. Don't know how much will be coming. Tide chart, Ken Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemetery. Today is Tuesday, the 13th. We talked about what good tides we're having this week. Some really strong incoming tide. The low tide this morning about right now, 5:54 a.m. It's coming in all day, but it's a good strong tide coming in. So this morning will be good fishing if you beat that rain out, if you're fishing at tidal flats. Okay, the marine forecast will be south-southwest at about 11, and I was looking, we talk about Panhandle Outdoors being a daily show. I sometimes get a big head thinking about, well, we've done over 2,000 shows. I was watching Wheel of Fortune the other night. Vanna White was saying they just celebrated their 6,500th show on Wheel of Fortune. Now their staff is a little bigger than ours, but that's still phenomenal because we're tickled that we've done over 2,000 shows here on Panhandle Outdoors, only because of great viewers like you and the great sponsors we have. So we do appreciate you. We'll take a break and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Let's get caught up on some pictures now. Over the weekend and then yesterday, we've had some great activity going on here in Panhandle Outdoors. But listen, I've got a picture here that's going to really surprise you. It's a fishing picture, but all these are, I know most of these folks that send them to me, but I don't have to know you for you to send the pictures. We go ahead and show everything that you folks send us. And start off with this nice buck right here, Billy Lessig. Billy's been on the show before. Billy's confined to a wheelchair now, but he don't have any confinements. He has no boundaries as far as getting out and enjoying the woods. He fell out of a tree stand many years ago. He's been paralyzed since then, but you can't tell it. When he came here to be on the show that day, he drove up himself, hopped out of his truck, and sat down in a motorized wheelchair, came in here, and when the show was over, loaded himself back up, put that wheelchair in the back of his truck. I just said they're fascinating. He's an inspiration to me. Good hunter, and you see what he got this past weekend. Look at today, a nice 8-point walked out. About 5-year-old 8-point. That's about prime time right there to get a buck. All right, now, Austin Gibbons graduated a couple years ago. I want you to read his little heading he put up here. People going through tough and stressful times in life sometimes treat their pain with alcohol, drugs, or take out their anger on innocent people. Me, I go to a different world underwater where none of my troubles exist, and I shoot some fish. And you look at there, he got some nice flounder. We're talking about the flounder being out here now. Nice job. Austin Gibbons. All right, here's a good one. Josh Miller and his wife. Josh, one of my former students, lives over around Savannah now. They built him a nice home over there. And his wife shot this. What a nice, that's a great, I told him that'd be a great Christmas card to send off. Josh Miller, his mom, Marita, and Barry Miller. Marita taught math at Mosley for a long time. Good outdoorsman. I'm glad to see him doing some outdoor stuff. Brian Revere, y'all know Brian. He's a principal at Vernon High School. I love telling stories. When I do these pictures, I love telling stories about the people because it's fascinating. Brian had a birthday weekend, so he and his dad took off to Texas for a 4.5-day hunting trip. Now, he sent pictures all weekend. A video and all the deer walking all over the place. I've never hunted Texas. I do want to, that's on my bucket list to hunt Texas because everything I've seen from there has just been phenomenal. So Brian, here he is, he and his dad are out there hunting, and he got, listen to this story here. The last morning 1 hour before we had to get down and start heading back home, this 9-point walked out in the thickest fog I have ever seen. I will remember this hunt for the rest of my life. That is a nice 9-point out of Texas. Brian Revere, I guess he's back in school this morning. I hope he got back, but good trip. Had a wonderful trip. Another one of my former students, Sheila Smith. Sheila is getting married pretty soon. She's hunting up in Georgia with a boyfriend, Parker Broom. And look at that nice. That's Sheila's first buck, I believe. It was cold up there, wasn't it, Sheila? Good outdoor girl. There's another picture of it, okay? This one's surprising. Check this out. How about James Wesky? They were fishing the county pier, okay? Finally, he had a decent day. This was actually Sunday afternoon. That's a little boy there. I've had him on before. Look at those healthy pompano right there, folks. Pompano, sheephead, whiting. Look at there. That is a fine catch. And then a little boy holding that nice redfish right there. Panama City County Pier. And that's good. What that tells you now, we're talking about these pompanos still being around this time of year, and you see it. Steve Barnett, a good morning in the Florida Deer Woods. Steve Barnett. I know Steve watches the show a lot over at Iron City Ironworks, and y'all tell Steve you saw him on TV, or the deer. Michael Harris sent these to me. I'm going to tell you the kids' names. Look at there. Running them dogs. And don't you know they had a thrill? And the kids' names are right here. Jillian Harris, Josh Spooneybarger, and R.J. Hill. Good job. Luke Bossler, Tyler McKay, speckled trout and sheephead. Fish were biting and the deer moving around. What if you're sitting in a tree stand like Jennifer Leonard Nice Wonder was? Well, look at here what's coming up to her tree stand. Now she had a door locked, but she didn't get to see the deer. She says she just hollered at them, they left. That's good. That's spooky though at times. Okay, let's go. I got a couple of announcements here. This is 2017, the first time it's been announced. The Florida Pro Redfish Series. It covers all over the state now. This is the one we cover the Emerald Coast over here in bottom right-hand corner. The tournaments will start April 1st. You see it, all of them will be here in Panama City, April, June, August, and October. If you want to sign up for it, you can go online to the Florida Professional Redfish Series. It's $200 a team, and for those tournaments also. Anyway, we'll talk more about that, but anyway, they're getting set up. All right, let me go ahead and take a break. I'm gonna come back and read the story on this one here. All right, be right back. Okay, welcome back, folks. Glad you're with us this morning. Okay, I got some more pictures. Trying to get everything story. I got a story here to go with this one, and okay, check out this picture right here. Okay, this is from Amanda Whitehead. Okay, and it is over there in Teloja, and she sent me a picture. This is her son and her dad. And what they're over there dog hunting, and let me see, I got to get a story, because it's a great story. All right, okay, dog hunting here. Roger Dale, Whitehead, nice buck there. And basically, the deer, okay, he actually did, okay, I'm going to read right here. Okay, I don't have it. So anyway, what happened, he had Roger Dale hadn't shot one in a while, and his dog was running the deer. They're over there hunting the Apalachicola Forest over there in Teloja area. Big area to hunt. I mean, really some good hunting over there. And Roger Dale hadn't shot one in a while, and actually he got to take this one. So his grandson's real tickled, so what he did, she made a little cartoon out of it. You killed a deer, Poppy? I'm shocked. And then he says, I am too. And that's just a great cartoon right there of an actual event that did happen over there. So I just wanted to share that with you. So anyway, Christmas is coming. A lot of folks out there in the woods and all. And thank you, Amanda Whitehead, for sending that to me. We've got a lot of viewers over there in Teloja and Liberty County and Hosford and Brunstown and Bristol and all through there. So appreciate all you folks over there. We're going to, as soon as hunting season's over, we're going to kick back off our Panhandle Outdoors on the road. We're going to get over there and see some of y'all soon. I always like to tell a story out of the book around Christmas time. and out of my book here. And I tell this every Christmas, but it's just special to me because I try to flash back to how the old timers felt back, in those days right here along the coastline and up there in the woods and all, how they celebrated Christmas. It wasn't that big of a deal back then because they didn't have that many things to buy. They just like to sort of acknowledge it, and there were a couple little presents and all on the tree. But I always think about the Ware family. The Ware family came in here in the early about 1888, and one of the biggest things I found was we went to Gainesville to visit the old library down there where the old historical collection was. I've told you before, they actually brought out a diary and set it on the table in front of me and put gloves on me. It was a diary from 1892. I told the guy I'm doing some research here in the Florida Panhandle. He said, I got just what you want to see. And he actually put it for me. It was a diary from the Ware family that settled in St. Andrews. And I went by page. I spent like all afternoon reading that, and I copied a lot of it. He let me copy, as much as I wanted. So we were able to get a copy. It was the original diary from 1892, and I appreciated him saving that so much. Somebody in the family had the foresight and vision to, let's save that. May not be able to stay in the family and all, but we can actually keep it so everybody can see it. But and in the book, you can see this is some excerpt from that diary. This whole page is, and I always love the one on Christmas Day, because what happened on Christmas Day, and the Ware family settled about where those condos were. They sailed into St. Andrew Bay in 1878, and that's where they settled, right there. And they just homesteaded that land. But on Christmas Day, they went down on December 25th. Now you got to keep in mind, they're going from St. Andrew to Apalachicola. There's no roads, there's some horse and buggies, no cars or anything. And what he was able to do, he went down there, right here. It was Christmas on a Monday that in 1892. He said, my brother and I took dinner with our friend Ludwig in Apalachicola. So obviously they got up that morning and went down to Apalachicola on Christmas Day. It was a stormy day. It rained all day. He said, I went out to the Methodist church to see the Christmas tree, but did not go in. And that just visions emblazoned in my memory of thinking about how Christmas was in those days. Just seeing a Christmas tree was a big deal to them. And the other thing, the whole Ware family, and they're still here now. The Ware family has been around a long time, and the early Christmases were just special to them. And the other Christmas story I think about out of the book is the only picture I have in here of any kind of game other than fish. Okay, and it's this big deer, big old buck right here, and you see it hanging. And the guy is Judge Ira Hutchison, and I've talked about this before, but he wanted to get some Christmas meat. So they took a boat down to St. Vincent Island and went out there with a couple of guys and shot a big old sambar deer and then some white-tailed deer, and had a big old Christmas feast off of it. But again, this was in 1946. Again, this is an area where I'm sure they got down there, and there's nothing on St. Vincent Island. Can you imagine being able to hunt there in the 40s? But what tickled me, this is a judge, but he loved outdoor stuff. He loved doing, providing for his family, fishing, game and all, but he wanted some Christmas meat. When I would go to festivals and all, when the book came out, and by the way, I'm going to try to go back to Apalachicola this coming seafood festival this coming year. When I would go, Gail made a display of pictures behind me. We had a booth and had all kind of pictures of big fish and all that, but I also had this picture. Out of all the pictures we ever had, that picture brought more people into the booth than any picture we ever had. And it was because they were just amazed at the size of that sambar deer. And that's, we talked about it before, there's a herd of about 100 still there, and they average about 600 pounds, where, a big whitetail is about 180 pounds at the most. So it's a great story there, but it was a lot of fun watching how those people would celebrate their Christmas. The old timers celebrated Christmas, all kind of stories in here about how people celebrated Christmas. So we're going to go ahead and take our final break, and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Let's do our fishing game time for today. We're looking at 11:22 to 1:22, smack dab in the middle of the day. Tonight, 11:53 to 1:53. Let's give away 2 pounds of shrimp from Real Time Fisheries. Let's do this on a Tuesday morning. A lot of times I just surprise people spontaneously. 2 pounds of shrimp from Real-Time Fishing. We had some shrimp over the weekend. Shrimp is good, especially this time of year. We just love shrimp. All right, the winner, Real-Time Fishers right there in Parker, in Callaway, right there on the highway, on the way to Weewaw. And the winner is going to be Wade Hazelup from the Funiac Springs. Good job, Wade. Come down here and get you 2 pounds of shrimp. Drop off a pound at the house and we'll be happy. Now, speaking of the book, I'm going to show you, you do not have to go to Amazon.com. I pulled this up to show you people are still selling this book online, but I want to show you, this is a little something you need to be aware of. I did not know this till I had somebody from out of town, a total stranger, called me and said, Coach, you have any books? He said, here it is on Amazon.com. Okay, a lot of people buy books from them. They have a good source. It's $74 plus shipping, which is $3.99. All right, look, I said, that's high, that's almost double. And then go down here, they have 18 used, 3 new, and 2 collectible. I said, wait a minute. So I went over, I checked that out. Folks, look at here. Full box. Here's a new one for $160 plus shipping, another new one for $168, and another new one for $182 for Panhandle Outdoors. One's in California, or Texas, or whatever. So anyway, you can go down to C&G, Sunjammers, or Blue Water and get you a book from there. You don't have to pay that kind of money for Amazon.com. But I will tell you this, in all honesty, I've told you before, I got about 500 books left out of about 6,000, and that's going to wrap it up. There will never be any more printed in my lifetime, and I will. So they will eventually get to that. And it's amazing at some of these collectible books in here. They get up in the hundreds and up at $1,000 some dollars when they start disappearing like that on down the line. So anyway, so be aware of that. Now, I did want to show you. I want to talk about the rut. We're talking about several things here. But dredging, one of my viewers asked about dredging the other day. We are dredging at St. Andrews Pass. In 1910, the Congress said we need to start dredging our coastal systems more. Up in the Northeast, they'd been doing a lot, but in 1910, they started down here at the Old Pass. From 1910 to 1933, they dredged the Old Pass. It kept it, was, let's see, 22 feet deep and about, I wrote down 100 feet. It was 22 feet deep anyway. They had to keep it dredged for the boats to come in. It was precipitated. There was a big shipwreck there, and drowned 3 people, 3 sailors trying to come in the Old Pass. And one of them was one of the Weller family members, and they finally got something done. So they started dredging. So we'll still dredge here. Our pass, they keep a good job. The Army Corps of Engineers does it now, and they really don't announce it too far ahead of time. They sort of I didn't know much about this. Before you knew it, they were out there dredging around the pass. So they hopefully will be finished. It's not going to be a major dredging. They're going to throw the sand up there on the beach. Same sand. It'll be a little discolored coming out of the water because, but once that sun bleaches it out, it's the same sand, good beach sand, and so they're going to sort of re-nourish as they dredge. So, but as far as outdoorsmen, the fishing and all, it could be a little stirred up there. You maybe won't be able to fish too good there around December, but hopefully they'll have it finished by the end of this year. Usually 3 or 4 weeks they'll knock it out. So that's going on right now. If you see all the big old stuff out there, and they've about got it down pat on how to do it. So just be aware of the dredging going on out there. I also wanted to mention one of the things too. The big thing, they're also doing dredging in Apalachicola. They do it in, I don't know, over in Choctawhatchee. I know Apalachicola are doing some dredging now, and here they're doing the dredging. So be aware of that. Now let's get into hunting. You started seeing these pictures today. Bucks are being taken. Usually December is the slowest between Christmas and Thanksgiving. Is the slowest time of year to take nice bucks and all. But the rut season pops off pretty fast. And I talk about this every year. And I want to make sure that you know the rut dates. And this is sent out by the FWC. This is not my chart here. This is put out by the FWC, by their biologists, and they're taken at different locations. A lot of times it's on game management areas where they can really get out there and have some private time and do some good experimentation. So we're going to look at the peak rut season. We're going to start over on the eastern Panhandle, and you can see about where the river is, but around the Tallahassee area and all, you're looking at November and December. But now it's funny, you look up there, come across the big river. Well, let's look around Tallahassee and all. You even have some in February. So that's odd that you're looking at. Let's look at some of these counties. February. So I'm going to work from your right to the left, from our east to west, and going through the Panhandle. You sort of pick out where you live. I get a kick out of Calhoun County is on December 24th. I mean, on Christmas Eve, in the northern part of Calhoun County. And then coming on over here, looking at Gulf County, and the county right south of there, February the 8th. And then Franklin County is January the 11th. I mean, you're talking about a month apart. So I want to show you all these statistics and also and tell you some things. And coming on across here, on into Washington County, Jackson County, look up there, Washington and Holmes County, February, and on to the west of us. So all of those are February once you get west of Bay County. So all of them February. So anyway, I want to show you that, and really look at this chart here. This is deer management units, and okay, this is on a deer harvest. But let me get back to talk about the ruts right now. We're going to talk about deer harvest later on, but the rut is not like one specific date. That is a peak right there, those dates I gave you from the biologist. But at the same time, you can tell, if you observe your deer, you can tell when they're out there chasing and running around and bouncing around, and the does are running and all, a lot of activity. If you sit in the same area for year after year, and you'll know your area. And like I say, it's not one specific time. It is a date within a couple of weeks. I always like the middle of January, that Martin Luther King weekend. That has just always been the most productive weekend year after year to myself and to good friends of mine that hunt and all. So and we just hunt this area, but that's a good time. So keep those in mind. I'm gonna run out of time. I want to show you tomorrow. I'm gonna have Ronnie Groom come on and talk about some presents, but we're gonna talk about rutting over at his place and different areas. And I also want to talk about the deer harvest this past year. It's fascinating. And also the number of deer hunters. It's amazing at the number of deer hunters we have in Walton County, of all places. Y'all got some of the most over there. Got to run out. Appreciate y'all watching Panhandle Outdoors. Always do something good for your fellow man. You have a great day, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.